This beat got me feeling a certain way. You ain't gonna get everything you put in, man. Just charge it to the game. Shoot my lawyer a couple thousand, get them charges out the way.
Recording, right? Alright. So to be honest, I don't know. This is my first time doing this. I seen it say horror, war. W-H-O-R-E. Horror. No, that's a war. War. But horror. Wait, hold on. Horror. Nah, but they be like, Jimmy, you're goddamn horror. I'm going to see a horror movie. Horror. How am I saying it right? Horror. Anyways, it don't matter. They both sound the same. I'm saying horror regardless. Horror. They both the same thing. Anyway, the output is still the same. Anyways, 3 True Wendy's Horror Stories animated. I don't know how you make Ashley. I watched SpongeBob After Dark. The phone gonna start ringing. Well, something. I forgot the rest. But yeah, I'm gonna play it. But yeah, by SSG Animations. It's my first time seeing this. Let's see.
Rinko. Most days are routine. Flipping burgers, filling drinks, dealing with the occasional rude customer. That's the job. I didn't think much about it until that day. It was a Tuesday afternoon, slow as usual. The dining area had maybe 4 or 5 tables occupied, and the smell of grease and fries hung heavy in the air. I was stationed at the counter, refilling the napkin dispensers when she walked in. A woman in her late 30s, maybe early 40s, wearing a beige coat that looked a little too big for her.
First of all, why she look like that? I wouldn't even be serving somebody who looked like that. Let me shut up. Hold on.
Her hair was a mess, and she carried this energy like she'd been running on caffeine and anger for days. She ordered a double cheeseburger meal.
Her teeth look like that. I am on 10. I'm standing on 10 the whole time. Her teeth look like that? She look like that? Her teeth? Nah, I'm on 10 the whole time.
With extra pickles and sat in the corner by the window. I didn't think much of her at the time. Just another customer.
But
looking back, there was something off. The way she tapped her fingers on the table, the sharp glances she threw around the room, like she was searching for a reason to explode. And it wasn't long before she found one. About 10 minutes later, I saw her waving me over, her face twisted in a scowl. I grabbed a tray, assuming it was a simple issue, maybe a missing sauce or a cold fry. "What is this?" she snapped, pointing at her burger. "This is not what I ordered. Where are my extra pickles?" I explained we could fix it and even offered to remake the burger. She didn't seem to hear me. Her voice got louder, her words sharper. Every customer in the place turned to watch her.
Regular customer for real at this point.
"This is unacceptable. What kind of useless kids do you have working back there?" I kept my tone calm, trying to de-escalate. It's what they teach us in training. Smile, apologize, and fix the problem. But the more I tried, the angrier she got. Her face was red now. Her hands gripping the edge of the table so hard, her knuckles turned white. It was like she wanted me to argue back to match her rage. When I finally said we could replace the meal, but she needed to calm down or leave, she froze. Just for a second. Then she leaned back, giving me this cold, piercing stare. I took it as a win. I thought she'd sit down, wait for her food, and this whole thing would blow over. I was wrong. I turned to head back to the counter, feeling a small sense of victory. Handling difficult customers was part of the job, and I thought I'd done well. As I walked away, I heard the sound of a chair scraping against the floor. Too late, I realized she'd stood up. Before I could turn around, she was on me. Something hit the back of my head hard. Her fists.
Oh! She done knocked the nigga out. She done knocked him out. Nah. Hold on.
I think. I stumbled forward, barely catching myself on the counter.
Oh, nah, damn, not lost consciousness. This nigga was stumbling back and forth like he was... What just happened? Oh.
People screamed.
Right in the
Chairs
nargy.
screeched as customers moved away. My heart pounded as I spun around to face her. Her face was twisted into something almost unrecognizable. Pure fury etched into every feature. She lunged at me again, and this time, I tried to block her, but she was fast, clawing at my arms, her nails sharp enough to tear through my shirt and scratch my skin. You think you can talk to me like that? You think you can disrespect me? I tried to push her back, shouting for someone to call the police. My coworkers were frozen, watching in shock.
Hell nah, you see me, I'm throwing these hands regardless, bisexual or not. It's called self-protection, you feel me? Self-defense. They want to put her hands on me, scratch my... Matter of fact, she damn to knock my ass out. Don't even know you. You look like that. I don't think that bisexual at that point. You a goddamn animal. Hit him. Bam. Every
She
time.
didn't back off. Her movements were frantic, almost animalistic. And then she bit me. The pain was immediate and sharp. Her teeth sank into my forearm, breaking the skin. I screamed.
I don't think I understand. This remind like, cause right now I'm playing Walking Dead, and this is literally like it is playing in my head. Somebody getting bit by a zombie right now. Sarita's got bit by a zombie actually, and it was literally just, it was exactly like this. Oh, that's crazy.
Instinctively pulling away, but she held on. Her jaw clamped like a vice.
Chopped it off.
My vision blurred with tears, but I could still see the look in her eyes. There was no humanity left in them, only rage. I managed to wrench my arm free, shoving her backward. She staggered but didn't fall. Instead, she smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It was twisted, almost proud, like she'd won something. My arm throbbed, and I could feel the blood soaking into my sleeve. You're crazy, stay away from me. She didn't listen. She lunged again, her hands reaching for my throat this time. I grabbed a tray off the counter and swung it, hitting her on the side of the head.
Should have been
She
done
stumbled,
that.
falling against the table. But even then, she didn't stop. She started crawling towards me, her nails scraping against the tiles, leaving streaks of blood from her own hands. The restaurant was chaos. People were shouting, some filming and others running for the exit. My manager was on the phone, screaming at the 911 operator to send help. But it felt like time had slowed down, like I was stuck in some nightmare I couldn't wake up
it's
from.
a one-on-one.
I backed up until I hit the counter. Nowhere left to go. She was on her feet again, moving faster than I thought possible. I grabbed anything I could find and threw them at her. Nothing slowed her down. When she reached me, she grabbed my shirt, pulling me forward.
So where the rest of the team went? That's what I'm confused. Where did the rest of the team go? So they're all just watching this happen to their own coworker, whatever, own teammate. Manager out here just holding the phone, calling the police or whatever he's calling, but no one's trying to actually help. That made no sense.
Her strength was unbelievable. I struggled, hitting her, kicking her, but it was like she didn't feel pain.
Game a little higher, man.
Her hands wrapped
exactly
around my
what it
neck,
is.
squeezing hard. I gasped for air, clawing at her arms, but she didn't let go. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw one of my coworkers grab a broom. He swung it, hitting her
There we
across the
go.
back. She let go of me, turning her attention to him. It gave me a chance to breathe.
Hold on. That's different. Hit with a tray, that pushes her. Get hit with a mop. Don't move. Ain't she get hit again? She ain't move.
To grab the edge of the counter and steady myself. She charged at him, knocking the broom out of his hands. He stumbled backward, falling over a chair. She was on him in seconds. I couldn't just stand there.
Yeah, you gotta help now.
Grabbing a metal tray, I ran toward her and swung it as hard as I could at the side of her head. She collapsed onto the floor, motionless.
That tray work.
A few minutes later, 2 police officers burst through the doors, guns drawn, shouting for everyone to get down. I raised my hands, stepping away from her body. One of the officers cuffed her while the other checked her pulse. She was alive, but barely conscious. They lifted her off the floor and dragged her to a waiting ambulance. I watched through a window as they loaded her in, her body limp, but still radiating that same sense of danger. An EMT cleaned and bandaged my arm, telling me I needed stitches and a tetanus shot. My coworkers were still shaken and their faces paled. The police took statements from everyone, asking the same questions over and over.
Hold on, officer got a clean lineup now. I'm gonna be an officer right there. Got a clean lineup right there. That boy lineup clean. You see the little, it's not a C cut. It's like a 7 cut. I say it like a 7.
I didn't go back to work for a while after that. I'd lay awake at night, replaying the attack in my head, wondering if I could have done something different.
Nah, blame your coworkers.
But the truth was, there was no reasoning with her. She was like a storm, unpredictable and destructive. Some people said she'd been off her medication. Others claimed she'd always been like that. A ticking time bomb. A bomb that exploded with me.
Always been like that, but no one
This
else
case
done
is
something about it?
inspired by the real case of Enrico. In this case, a man was brutally attacked and bitten by an angry customer for having received the wrong order. Witnesses claim that she was furious from the start and at all times sought conflict. Hey guys,
Wow.
we noticed that only a small portion of you are subscribed to the channel. If you really enjoy our
Got a meal. Hold on. I'm boiling some water so I could drink it because I heard it was clean. Look. Yeah, see that? Yeah, I'm gonna let it boil for a little longer, and I'm gonna let it cool down, and then put some ice in. No, I'm just put it in the fridge after it cools down. Hell yeah. All right. Back to the video.
stories, please follow us and like the video. It's free and it really helps us
I
a lot
enjoy that
to
one.
keep growing.
I enjoy that.
We upload videos daily and interact a lot with our community. As we upload stories
I'll
that you
subscribe.
recommend us, and once a month, we upload your own story.
So these are all real stories just turned into their own little. Okay.
And to those of you who are already subscribed, we appreciate all your likes, comments, and your constant support. You are as
Yeah, come on.
Night shift.
Story number 2.
Working the day shift at Wendy's wasn't much better than the night shift. It was quieter, sure, but the monetary was the same. When everything happened, I just finished wiping down the counters when the automatic door slid open with a low hum. A couple walked in. A woman clutching a large purse looked nervous. Her eyes darted around the restaurant as if she was looking for an escape route. The man with her was built like a linebacker. His face looked in an expression of barely contained rage. His eyes swept over the empty tables and landed on me. His glare sent a chill down my spine. The woman shuffled to the counter, her shoulders hunched.
If they ask for money, I'm giving all the money. I'll be pooping my pants right now. My pants will be pooping and pissing everywhere. If you want money, you can have the money. Cause I'm not. No. That boy too strong. I don't even care about the woman. That boy is too strong for me. He is throwing me up in the air and leaving me up there. I'm just being honest here. No. You can have what you want, not my cheeks. I'll run away, leave the store if I have to.
The man followed close behind, towering over her. His arms crossed tightly across his chest. I could feel the tension between them, even before anyone said a word. The woman stepped forward hesitantly, her voice shaky and almost too quiet to hear.
I'll take a number 3 combo.
Oh,
Medium fries and a small drink.
okay.
The man's face twisted into a scowl, and his voice exploded like a gunshot. What did I tell you? I said large fries. She flinched at his words, her lips trembling. She turned to him, speaking just loud enough for me to catch.
I don't have enough money for a large. I brought just enough for what we agreed on.
His fist clenched, and he took a step closer to her, towering over her.
That's why we need a button, like a little button under the thing. I'm gonna press that button, that red button, under. That's right under. Press that red button. Police coming.
You're useless. Always making excuses.
He's not gonna hit her, right?
Can't even get an order right. She looked absolutely terrified, so I stepped in, trying to break the growing tension. Sir, you shouldn't be. He turned to face me,
Why is
his face red with fury. Without a word, he shoved me so hard that I crashed into the wall behind the counter. My shoulder throbbed, but I forced myself back to my feet. The woman's face was pale, her hands trembling as she tried to calm him down.
I'll be shitting
Please
bricks.
don't. Don't start a fight. Everyone is looking. You're embarrassing me.
He rounded on her again, his voice even louder now. Embarrassing you? You are embarrassing yourself. This is all your fault. Look what you made me do. Are you happy now? I could see where this was heading. His rage was spiraling out of control. He was a bomb waiting to go off. The woman's pleas only seemed to fuel his anger further. When she reached out to touch his arm, he swatted her hand away so hard that she stumbled back a step. I grabbed the phone behind the counter, my fingers fumbling to dial the police. Before I could press the button,
It's not
he
gonna
lunged
work.
over the counter, grabbing my wrist in a vice grip.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we need a button. Because always they could tell that you called the 911, but if you have that little button, boom. 911 should be on their way right away.
What do you think you're doing? You're not going anywhere. I yanked my hand away, but he reached across the counter and dragged me forward, slamming me against the register.
Damn.
He started hitting me and never stopped. Again and again and again and again. He was hitting me non-stop, and I couldn't defend myself. And even though there were people in the place, no one tried to stop him. Everyone was
There's
too...
people there too? So I'm the one taking care of all this, right? Y'all see something happening. Y'all not trying to call 911, no nothing. Y'all just watching. He talking crazy, know all this stuff. He being crazy. Nobody else gonna be like, I'm gonna call 911. Oh, I'm gonna step in, say something. No, nobody. Everybody just wanna sit there and watch and be scared. You see, like a lot of things could be avoided if niggas just said something. Like people just said something. A lot of things could be avoided.
afraid. Pain shot through my ribs as I struggled to push him off. His face was inches from mine, his breath hot and reeking of stale cigarettes. My co-workers were calling the police, but nobody was doing anything to save me. The woman screamed,
Oh, so there is
begging
a
him to
button.
stop, but he ignored her. He let go of me, only to grab a metal napkin holder and hurl it across the room. It shattered against the wall with a deafening crash. He turned his attention to the tables next, flipping them over one by one with a guttural roar. The sound of
Roid rage, that's what it is. Roid rage, roid rage. That's what you got. That's what it is. I see it. Roid rage. Yeah, that's what he got. That's what it is. He swole. He getting mad. All this extra stuff. He probably tired too.
plastic and metal
Swole.
hitting the floor
Makes
echoed
sense.
through the empty restaurant.
But like a linebacker, Autumn Roid.
I tried to crawl toward the kitchen, hoping to grab something, anything to defend myself. But he was faster. He crossed the room in just a few strides, grabbing me by the collar and yanking me off the ground. My feet barely touched the floor as he shook me like a rag doll. You think you're tough, huh? Say something now. I could barely get a word out
Tough?
before he threw me to the floor again.
Tough. You done beat the man left to right. Threw him over the counter, put him back. Threw him up in the air, all the extra. Tough. Tough. If he was tough, he'd be like, I ain't feeling that. He would have tried to hit you back. No, this man's trying to run for his life.
My head smacked against the tile,
Damn.
and for a moment, everything was a blur. I could hear the woman's voice frantic and desperate, but her words were drowned out by his shouting. When I managed to sit up, he was already tearing the place apart. Chairs flew across the room, one of them smashing into the glass window near the entrance. I saw the kitchen knife then, lying on the floor where it had fallen during the chaos. My heart sank as I watched him notice it too.
How did the kitchen knife get up there?
He
Kitchen
picked up the
wasn't in
knife,
kitchen.
holding it tightly in his hand. The woman tried to grab his arm, but he shoved her so hard she fell to the ground, clutching her side. He turned back to me. He wanted to kill me. He advanced slowly on me, the knife held low but ready.
Imagine the cops just coming right here. Imagine. Just imagine. Just imagine. Just imagine. Imagine the cops just come right there. Just saying.
His face was twisted with rage, his eyes wild and unfocused. I scrambled backward, but there was nowhere to go.
Surprise taser.
My back hit the counter, and I was trapped. Still want to play the hero? Let's see how brave you are now. The door opened, and I saw 2 police officers rush in, their guns drawn. They shouted at him to drop the knife, their voices steady but commanding. For a moment he froze, his grip on the knife tightening. His eyes darted between me and the officers as if he was trying to decide his next move. The woman screamed at him to stop, tears streaming down her face. But he didn't seem to hear her. He raised the knife slightly. He wanted to kill me anyway. He didn't care about the police. I braced myself, thinking this was it.
Police?
But before he could make another move, one of the officers tackled him from behind. The knife clattered to the floor as they wrestled him to the ground. It took both officers to pin him down.
I mean, shit, look at him and look at them. I'm surprised it took only 2. I thought it'd take like 4 or 5. The man swole. He looked like the great cop. He looks like the great Khali. Wow. If y'all know who the great Khali is, I'm about to put a picture up right here too.
I sat on the floor, my chest heaving, watching as they cuffed him. His face was red, veins bulging in his neck as he continued to trash talk me. The woman was sobbing uncontrollably, her hands covering her face. One of the officers helped her to her feet, speaking to her in a low, calming voice. Another officer came over to me, checking if I was hurt. My ribs ached, my lip was split, and my head was pounding. But I was alive. That was all that mattered. The officers told me later that he'd been high on some synthetic drug that made people violent and nearly unstoppable. It took 3 of them to get him into the squad car. That was my last day at Wendy's.
Nah, I don't blame you.
I handed in my resignation the next morning.
I'd have left too.
I couldn't walk back into that place. Couldn't stand the thought of reliving those moments every time I saw the counter or the floor where it all happened.
Damn.
I still think about it sometimes. The knife, the rage in his eyes, the sound of chairs crashing to the ground. And every time I hear someone say fast food is an easy job, I remember that day.
That bit not an easy job. That is not no easy job. I'm telling y'all, that is not no easy job. Yeah, I don't want that. It's easy, but it's not easy. I'm telling y'all. It's handling customers the hardest part. Anything that handles a customer is hard as fuck. Hard.
They have no idea how bad it can get.
Oh.
This story is inspired by a real case. In this story, a white male about 25 years old walked into a Wendy's with his girlfriend. After an employee noticed how he mistreated the woman, he tried to intercede, only to be brutally beaten by the man, who was later arrested.
Damn. It's the fact that all these actually happen. It's a crazy world that we live in, for real. Let me go check on my water, my boiling water, cause I'm gonna make iced tea, sweet tea. Yo, it's crazy. I'm putting my hand over it and my hand gets moist. Because it's evaporated. Alright. Ooh, I put it on low heat. So I'm gonna let it cool down for a little bit on low. And then I'm gonna let it cool down completely. But crazy world we live in, yeah. It's crazy. But story number 3? Let's see what story number 3 talking about.
I was in the storage room mopping the floor with my earbuds in. The music.
Hold on. Hold on, bro. Hold on, Brody. I know, like, I can get that little itch, and like you just got it on the ear too, and you just rub it, and it just feels so good. Damn, felt like a dog right there. You know, the scratch behind the dog ear, and he started. That's
Music drowned out the noise of the restaurant above. I worked there for 6 months, and this was just another evening shift. My focus was on cleaning the sticky mess from a spilled syrup container. The lights in the storage room flickered occasionally, but I was used to it. I didn't hear the front doors open. I didn't hear the commotion upstairs. I didn't even hear the muffled screams. But when I pulled out one earbud to adjust it, a faint bang reached my ears. I froze for a second. Then another bang. It sounded distant, but not distant enough. Curiosity got the better of me. I slipped off the earbuds and walked toward the entrance to the main floor. That's when I heard it clearly. A gunshot. My stomach dropped. I stayed rooted to the spot, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. My pulse quickened, but I forced myself to move. As I peeked out of the storage room door...
That's where you messed up at. You got your phone with you. You hear gunshots. Why are you going out there to see what happened? Now, if you get shot, whose fault is that? You heard the gunshots. You decided to check it out. Why would you check it out? Why? Call the police. Clear it. Leave. You're not helping. You're not Superman. You don't have a gun on you. You're a custodian. Goddamn. You're mopping. The mop not doing nothing. It's not a cartoon. We can block you with the mop. No. Leave.
I saw them. My coworkers were lined up on their knees, hands behind their backs. Hands behind their heads. Two were already on the floor, lifeless.
Damn.
I recognized their uniforms and shoes, but their faces were turned away. One of the men holding a gun stepped forward and pressed it against Greg's head. Greg was the new guy, barely a week on the job. I backed away silently, trying not to hyperventilate. Another shot rang out and I stumbled, hitting a metal shelf. The noise was deafening in the cramped space. I scrambled to my feet and bolted back into the storage room. My heart pounded as I slid behind a stack of boxes and crouched low. The storage room felt smaller now, the air thicker. The noise I made must have been loud enough because one of them came looking.
It's the fact knowing this thing's actually real now. It's like, wow. Wow.
I heard heavy footsteps approach the storage room. Each step sent a fresh wave of panic through me. My breathing was too loud. I tried to muffle it with my sleeve. The door creaked open and I heard him mutter something to himself. I saw his shadow first. He was tall, stocky, and held a gun loosely at his side. He moved slowly, scanning the room. His boots crunched on the spilled sugar I'd just been cleaning. He stopped a few feet from my hiding spot. I clutched a mop handle like it could protect me. My palms were slick with sweat. He moved closer. His boots stopped inches from my position. I could see the scuffed leather and the faint blood splatter near the sole. He crouched slightly, his eyes narrowing as he examined the area. I held my breath, praying he wouldn't look down. He shifted, and for a moment his gaze seemed to land right on me. My muscles tensed, ready to run if he raised his weapon. Then a loud crash came from the other side of the room. He turned abruptly, swearing under his breath. He kicked over a stack of boxes, revealing someone else. It was Marcus, one of the cooks. Marcus charged at the man, tackling him to the ground. They wrestled for control of the...
Mark is a real ass nigga. Mark is a real ass nigga. I don't give a damn. What? That's when I would have popped out and tried to help Marcus now. I ain't running no. Marcus got his ass. I'm going. I'm helping. 2-on-1? I mean, he got his hand gripped on the gun, but still. I got a better chance now.
The gun, but Marcus was no match. The gun went off once, twice. Marcus staggered back, clutching his chest. He turned toward the exit, stumbling, but another shot dropped him before he made it 3 steps. The man yelled something unintelligible, and another figure appeared at the door. I stayed frozen, hoping they wouldn't check my hiding spot. I would have helped, actually. Never mind. They didn't. One of them barked an order, and the man who shot Marcus kicked the lifeless body before walking away. The room fell silent again, except for my shallow breathing. I waited. Minutes felt like hours. The silence was oppressive. Eventually, I worked up the courage to crawl out from behind the boxes. I avoided looking at the dark stains on the floor as I crept toward the storage room entrance. The dining area was eerily quiet now. I peeked around the corner and my stomach churned. All of them were down. My coworkers, the people I spent hours with every week, were lifeless on the floor. The two men stood over them, one rifling through wallets and bags while the other checked for anything they might have missed. Their movements were quick, agitated. Then I heard something that turned my blood cold. "Make sure there's no one else. Check the back." I darted back into the storage room and hid again, this time in a cabinet beneath the sink. My knees were pressed to my chest and I had to hold the cabinet door shut from the inside. Footsteps sounded closer. The door to the storage room creaked open again. The man entered, his breathing heavy. I could hear him moving things around, knocking things over as he searched. He cursed under his breath, growing more impatient. He was thorough, checking every nook and cranny. He got closer to my hiding spot. I could see his boots again, just like before. He stopped right in front of the cabinet. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure he could hear it. He grabbed the cabinet handle and yanked it open. The second the door opened, I swung it outward with all my strength, catching him off guard. He stumbled back and I rushed at him, grabbing his arm to keep the gun pointed away.
Oh, he a real nigga
We
too?
crashed onto the floor, knocking over shelves and scattering supplies everywhere. He was strong, much stronger than me.
I mean, who got the gun in his hand? Get the gun first and shoot first. What?
He shoved me off and reached for the gun, but I kicked it under a shelf. His fist came down on my side, knocking the wind out of me. I scrambled backward, grabbing a nearby broom and swinging it at him. It hit his shoulder, but it only seemed to make him angrier.
Gotta hit him in the
He
head.
lunged at me and we collided again. I grabbed at anything I could reach, a bottle, a box, anything to slow him down. My fingers found a heavy wrench.
That was there the whole time? Yo, I could have helped goddamn Marcus. You could have knocked the boy out. You could have knocked that man out and Marcus would have been alive. And it would have been a 2-on-2. One of them y'all had the wrench and the other one that had the gun.
And I swung it wildly. It connected with his arm and he yelled in pain, but it wasn't enough to stop him. He grabbed my wrist and twisted, forcing me to drop the wrench. I tried to push him off, but he pinned me to the floor. His hand wrapped around my throat and I could feel the pressure cutting off my air. My vision blurred and my limbs flailed, desperate to fight back. My hand found a shard of broken glass and I stabbed it into his side. He roared in pain, loosening his
Get the
grip
gun.
just enough for me to shove him off. Blood soaked through his shirt, but he didn't stop. He reached for the gun under the shelf and I kicked it farther away. He lunged after it and I took the chance to run. My legs felt like jelly, but I didn't stop. I bolted out of the storage room and into the hallway, my chest heaving as I gasped for air. I turned a corner and froze. The second man was there, blocking the exit. His face twisted into a sneer as he raised his weapon. I didn't think, I just ran the other way. My heart felt like it was going to explode as I sprinted down the corridor, searching for another way out. He chased me, I could hear him behind me. I darted into another room, slamming the door shut and locking it. The room was small, filled with filing cabinets and office supplies. He pounded on the door, each hit making me flinch. I grabbed a chair and wedged it under the handle, hoping it would hold. The pounding stopped, and for a moment there was silence. Then a single gunshot shattered the quiet, and the lock splintered. I didn't wait for him to get in. I climbed onto a desk and pushed open a ceiling panel, hoisting myself into the crawl space above. It was cramped and dusty, but it was a way out. I crawled as quickly as I could, ignoring the sounds of him breaking into the room below. I found an opening and dropped down into another hallway. My knees buckled on impact, but I forced myself to keep moving. The emergency exit was just ahead.
My knees would have been done for right there. Just saying. My knees, I can't even get up.
Burst through the door and into the cold night air, my lungs burning as I sucked in deep breaths. The parking lot was empty, but I didn't stop running. I made it to the main road and flagged down a passing car. The driver stopped, their eyes wide with shock as I gasped out a plea for help. They called the police and I collapsed onto the ground, my body finally giving out. The police arrived quickly, swarming the restaurant. They found the first man in the storage room unconscious. The second man had vanished, leaving behind only chaos and fear. Shortly thereafter, I learned that the other man had also been arrested. Why they did what they did brought tears to my eyes. A robbery. All these people died just for a robbery. I still think about that night and how I had another chance to live, a chance that my coworkers did not have. All the ice cream that tastes better, the times I have problems seem less. Everything is different since that night. Sometimes I wonder what I would have done differently to save my coworkers. The answer is nothing. I survived, and that's more than enough. And that's more than enough.
That was good. That was good. That one had me. I couldn't even react no more. I was so into it. I couldn't even react no more. Couldn't do it. But yeah. Damn, I need to watch more of these. I need to watch a lot more of these for real. I like that. Subscribe. Oh, I'm ready for the next one. The next one he dropped. Oh, I'm ready for it. Oh my god.